first of all, I'd like to say thank you for everyone for taking the time to join us today. I know how crazy the schedules are today. At least I know how mine is, trying to accommodate all the additional communications and meetings, with the workforce now being distributed and working from home. And I can only imagine that every one of you are in the same position. With that said, we're going to try and keep this short and make sure we're making good use of your time and such. So today, we've really got two primary goals for the presentation today. Number one, I want to make sure you're aware of some of the new features and functionality that are available within the ProductivityNOW platform, and especially in how it relates to remote environment, remote workers and such. And number two, we want to share some best practices that we've learned from working with other customers, as well as our own internal use of the system, especially, again, today with our workforce being as distributed and everybody working from home. When the topic of this webinar came up, it actually came up from a conversation I was having with one of our clients. And I was talking to a CAD manager for a sizable firm that we work with. And he was talking about the challenges that they were having, getting their users up and running from home and really getting them productive with their projects. And one of the big struggles they were having was around, communication. How do I get team members to actively communicate with each other? How do I get them to be able to share information and keep working? And then he went on to say that their IT department was really struggling trying to deploy Microsoft Teams. They historically had done all the deployments of IT type technology by going office to office, having a lunch and learn type event with their users to show them the new tool, how to use it, when to use it, and things like that. And with the current environment, they just couldn't do that, right? They couldn't get everybody to come to their office. And I says, well, that's interesting. We just completed that very deployment here at Imagine It. And we did it about 2 weeks after all of our employees started working from home. And the way we did it is we utilized the ProductivityNOW platform. We assigned learning paths for the Microsoft Teams content, which Eagle Point and the maker of that content has made available through the month of April within the ProductivityNOW platform. So we went in, assigned each user, each employee in the company, a short learning path on the basics of how to use the tool and when to use the tool. And then we had IT turn it on. So all of our users came in and had the learning materials available to them for a few days before IT turned the technology on. And as such, we've been able to report on who's completed the training. We can see the usage. And now we've got a very effectively using the Microsoft Teams platform. And so we kind of use that as a kickoff. And I'm like, yeah, if customers don't know about this technology and this is available, maybe this is a way we can really help you with that. So we wanted to get that information out and try and use that as an example. So with that said, on the call today with me, I've got a couple of people. Number one is Todd Stewart. He's Imagine It's ProductivityNOW manager. Todd's going to be helping us out by monitoring the Q&A and working through the questions and such there. In addition, we're very lucky to have Katie Jones from Eagle Point Software. As most of you know, our ProductivityNOW platform runs on top of Eagle Point's Pinnacle Series system. And Katie is a customer success manager for Eagle Point. She's responsible for developing and maintaining customer relationships that promote retention, awareness, and excitement surrounding the Pinnacle Series and ProductivityNOW platforms. Katie works very closely with clients to understand their company culture as well as their challenges so that they can be incorporated in and addressed through the ProductivityNOW platform. Katie is joining us. She's going to run the bulk of the presentation today. And with that, Katie, I will turn the floor over to you.
Great. Thanks for that great introduction, Kevin. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the ProductivityNOW platform today. As Kevin stated, my name is Katie Jones, Customer Success Manager for Eagle Point. Before I dive into the demonstration today, I do just want to take a moment to expand on my role and our process here for the implementation of the platform. So This is a very busy slide for what the customer success team does here. What I really want you guys to take away from this is with the Productivity Now platform, the customer success team truly is an advocate for your organization. We're very much on the people side of organizations. We do bring in technical teams wherever needed. We strategize with HR teams, marketing teams, technical teams whenever we need them. But as you can see, it's not something that's just a throw over the wall. And we'll talk to you when your subscription comes. We're there for you throughout the life of your subscription. It's really, really important for us to understand not only your organizational structure, but the culture there. Right? What works well, what doesn't work well. Who are your champions? Who are going to help spread that message? Why are we investing in this? How is it going to help me? That continued champion training, right? Does it make sense to have a live lunch and learn? Does it make sense to build your own custom content? Are we going to be leveraging the out-of-the-box content, if you will? And so again, very busy slide, but I just wanted to take a moment there to show everyone that great relationship that we build with our clients throughout the subscription. The next slide here, Kevin had mentioned the Productivity Now platform is powered by the Pinnacle series. So throughout my presentation today, if you do hear me mention Pinnacle series or you do see that terminology in the platform, just know that it is also referring to Productivity Now. This is because of the very, very close relationship that Eagle Point and Imaginate Technologies have built over the past year. So again, if you hear that terminology, just know that we are referring to the Productivity Now platform. Okay. Now, I'm going to dive into the demonstration here in just a few moments, but I did want to spend a couple more minutes just talking about, why is Productivity Now even exist? Where did it come from? Why is it here? Why are we here today? So I want to take a moment to explain. It starts out as an online learning management platform, right? It starts out as an LMS for your AEC firms and those disciplines, but it goes well beyond that. After the years, we have a very, very lengthy history in the AEC marketplace. But after the years, we've worked with a lot of different clients and found that most of them, if not all of them, are really struggling with these three main problems of continuous learning, knowledge capture, sharing, and increasing productivity. So the Productivity Now platform was developed as a solution to help overcome these issues. And the concept of continuous learning is one that we find most firms struggle with, and it goes well beyond the onboarding of new people. There's so much technology and software out in the market. We have, Revit, BIM 360, AutoCAD, other Autodesk software, but then there's, Bentley and Adobe and Microsoft products, and it's really hard to get a grasp on all of that software. And not to mention, it's always changing. There's yearly releases, there's new features that come out. With Productivity Now, organizations can get their staff lots of options for continuous learning and navigating these various software applications right on day one. Okay? So in addition to that continuous education, when you bring new employees on board, they can get the fundamentals that they need right on day one because the platform is completely customizable to bring in your own processes and standards. But then we also find that lots of organizations have this problem of skills gaps, right? Your staff might range from users that are right out of college with basic Revit skills to those of them at the company for years. So many times we're hearing from BIM managers or CAD team leads that they need to improve their team's skills, but they don't really know where each individual needs to start. And it can be kind of an awkward conversation. People may overestimate their skills or underestimate their skills because at the end of the day, we don't know what we don't know. So the idea behind continuous learning is to target those skills gaps so that your users get moving forward on their training faster so that they can ultimately get into project work faster and be billable. And where we go to next is this idea of capturing and sharing knowledge. So most organizations have the need to be able to capture your internal best practices, and then you also need to be able to send that out to your staff so that everyone's following the same processes and procedures. There's challenges to this, right? It takes time to capture your internal best practices and procedures, but then you ask yourself, well, now how am I going to share it? How are you going to communicate to everyone that a process has changed? And then how do you ensure that everyone's following those same processes? Especially in these times when we're all remote, we're not sitting next to the person, we're not in the same office. How do we make sure that people are following the best practices for a particular project. Productivity Now platform allows you to capture your internal best practices and share it in a way that you can track exactly what people are doing, which documents they're utilizing, and also have the ability to easily update those documents so that everyone's up to date on the most recent standards. With the workflows that we have, your staff are able to follow a specific process step by step, making sure users are doing everything right the first time, resulting in decreased rework. The platform also comes with a lot of resources for technical support, so we're there to help you when you can't turn around and ask that person that you used to sit next to. Third problem area is increasing productivity. So we all know in the AEC industry, productivity is king, and it's especially important now in these unique situations. Projects need to be completed on time with high quality and under budget. Most organizations are going to have that go-to person, right? Sitting here today, you might be one of those go-to people. You used to get a tap on the shoulder, but now you might get an IM or a message. You get pulled off of production to help that person, but now two people are out of production trying to solve one problem. Or maybe you're the person that frequently might ask that expert. Because of the current processes, it might be difficult to find the information you're looking for, again, due to these unique situations. So instead of going to that go-to person, anytime you're stuck while working on your project work, instead, you're going to go into Productivity Now, run a quick search on what you need help with, get your answer by watching a quick video or reading a step-by-step document, and that gets you back to your project. The platform is designed to empower your staff when they're stuck, so they're no longer going to that expert, and it allows the experts to remain focused and in production as well. That's really the key goal here with the Productivity Now platform. Flexible platform that's designed to keep you efficient. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into the platform. I'm going to jump out of PowerPoint here. All right, so the first thing you may have noticed is that we are in a browser. So Productivity Now is accessible through any web browser. I happen to be using Chrome. That's going to give you the best user experience, but you can also access it through Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer. Simple web address, productivitynow.imagineit.com. You'll log in. I'm going to dive into how the platform solves those three problem areas. And I'm going to do a quick tour of the home screen here to help us get our bearings. So the platform is completely customizable and brandable. You can add your own logos, you can add your own images, you can change the colors and the fonts to help really enforce an internal solution for your staff and users. So you can go ahead and add pictures to help identify who you are as a user. So when you go in and log out here, knowing that it's a trusted source for users helps to reinforce that this is where I go for my answers. Over here on the left-hand side, we have some technical resources. So helping you with those technical questions related to content. Imagine it's going to be there providing you support. Over on the right-hand side down here, we also have a support button. So anytime you need help or you have a question that's going to provide you the phone number, you can go ahead and send a live chat and send an email as well, and support's going to help you that way. On the left-hand side, there is an area to add hard hyperlinks. So with the Productivity Now platform, we don't want to compete. We want to help link users through the information that they need. So maybe you want to go ahead and link to a current project list. Maybe you have an internal health and fitness portal you want to help people get access to. Maybe there's different 401k documents or things you want to link them to. Any areas that help them find that information faster. Underneath those hard hyperlinks are what we call asset libraries. So an asset library is just a container of information, and there's two different types of asset libraries available to you with Productivity Now. First one is a custom asset library. You can come out here and completely build your own library, helping your users find the information that they're looking for, whether it's specific manuals, CAD standards, maybe it's across the different disciplines. Maybe there's specific training that you need to go through. The platform allows you to completely customize this area, directing your staff to the information that they need to find. Underneath that asset libraries are out-of-the-box asset library. With the Productivity Now platform, a lot of content available to you right out of the box, and it goes well beyond those typical AEC subjects there. We have Adobe content, very, very vast list of Autodesk titles, ranging from AutoCAD to BIM, Civil, through Revit. To show you how deep our content goes, I'm just going to jump into Civil 3D here. Now, across the top, you're going to see the different version years. So we deliver content to help our users make those transitions from version year to version year. So when you're getting ready to jump into 2020, or now we're getting into 2021 here soon, the platform is going to help you find that information and make that transition. So with the Productivity Now platform, we develop content in 4 different asset types. They're learning paths, their workflows, or documents, or videos. So as you can see here, in 2020, we have 16 different learning paths available to you to help your staff learn a new skill. So as I expand out the learning paths here, you're going to find that the content is broken up, whether you're looking for Eagle Point content, or maybe you're looking for specific Ascent courseware. The platform is going to guide you exactly to the information you need. So as a user, I can come out here and I can browse for training, I can look for training, and I can self-enroll exactly when I need to. Once you enroll into a particular learning path, out on your home screen, it's going to appear under the My Courses area. Now, not only can you self-enroll in My Courses, but a manager or an administrator can also enroll users into courses. So if there's a particular training that a user needs to be assigned to, managers have an option to easily assign out that training. These are just some examples of courses that I'm currently enrolled in. And when I jump out into an individual course, you're going to see the tree diagram on the left-hand side that guides you through the different courses. So our courses are made up of contextual-based material. Sometimes they're going to be videos. Sometimes they're going to have exercises. And some of them are going to have quizzes. Now, all of our learning paths, again, are completely customizable. You can use one of our out-of-the-box learning paths. You can create your own by starting with ours as a baseline. Now, again, you can self-enroll, a manager can enroll you, or there's a third option to start with a customized learning path based on a Knowledge Smart assessment. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Knowledge Smart, they're a global leader in AEC assessments. So when an employee completes a Knowledge Smart assessment first, a custom learning path is created specific to those skills gaps or weaknesses that they have. So for example, I took a Knowledge Smart assessment regarding Revit architecture. When I took that assessment, this learning path I'm enrolled in enrolled me in 11 out of the 16 courses. So what that means, if I were to go through this learning path from start to finish, I would have to complete 16 full courses. But because I did the Knowledge Smart assessment first, I already had the knowledge to completely pass out of 5 full courses. Huge time saver, right? Because again, at the end of the day, we don't know what we don't know. Now, in this first course, Introduction to Revit, I only need to watch 5 short videos and I'm done with the course. But if I show all topics here, each one of these Knowledge Smart trophies is telling me I don't need to watch that video, I don't need to go through that document or quiz because I already have that skill set. This is a huge, huge time saver. And it also gives my manager a really good benchmark of where my skills are at and where I need to start. Especially in these times where people need to be productive and working on their project work, anywhere that we can save time and training is going to be really, really helpful. Okay, now, so far we've seen how Productivity Now provides lots of ways to get training to your staff. And then your admins and managers can also track it. So on the back end, managers can see quiz scores. They can see how much time you're actually spending in learning, how much of the videos you're watching, if you're watching the videos over and over again. So really, really good ways for managers to track it. But really, training is a small part of the average person's time. Every company is different, Most users are going to jump into the platform and start going through these, onboarding processes and learning paths, and that's really great. But again, it's a really small part of their time. What happens, that other 95% after onboarding, and they take that Knowledge Smart assessment. The majority of the time, they need to be billable and in production. And this is going to take us back to that problem of increasing productivity. So imagine now, we're past onboarding, we're in our project. I went through my learning paths, I'm all trained up. I can't turn around and ask the person that I usually go to. So instead, I'm going to come onto Productivity Now and I'm going to run a quick search. So I'm just going to run a search here on stairs. I'm looking at my model and this is what I'm stuck on. And the results are going to show all the content and material related to that topic within Productivity Now. This includes any of our out-of-the-box content and anything that you create and upload yourself. It becomes searchable for your staff and becomes this one-stop shop for answers instead of going to that go-to person and taking up their time. Now with the Productivity Now platform, we have some filters over here on the left. So I showed you earlier that our content can range back to older version years. So let's say I'm specifically working in version year 2019, and I'm looking specifically for Ascent courseware, or Eagle Point, or your own custom company content, or maybe I'm looking for a specific document. By using the filters on the left-hand side, this is going to allow you to quickly find the specific materials that you need related to your question. So I can come out here, and I'm currently using Revit 2019. That is the installed version that I have. And here's a document on adjusting tread depth on stairs. I come out here and I can easily see screenshots. I can see step-by-step processes. Sometimes they're going to have links to other documents or reference videos, and I can easily get my answer and back to my project work. But maybe this wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Over on the right-hand side, there was a related area. This is going to follow you around in your search, giving you other keywords to help you find your answers. Now, when you're searching on content, it's not just searching the titles. It's searching all of the description within the document itself. It's also searching video titles, PDF titles, and contents, and transcriptions within the videos as well. I found a document there, but maybe I'm more of a visual person. So I'm going to go into a video instead. And I'm going to click on working with multi-story stairs. A couple of things to point out with our videos, they are transcribed at the right-hand side. So again, when you're running that search, it's searching these transcriptions as well. And if you upload your own videos, you'll have the option to add a transcription to your videos as well. So here I have a quick 1 minute and 48-second video. I can watch the video here, but I can also click within the transcription. And it's going to jump ahead to that area of the video. So maybe you want to read a little bit further and I don't have to watch the whole video. And then down here at the bottom, the related areas following you around with other suggestions as well. Now, not only are all of our videos completely transcribed, but we do try to keep them around 5 minutes or less. Now remember, we're in our project work. I need a quick answer. You shouldn't have to watch a hour-long video to find my answer. I'm in my project work, and this is where the Productivity Now platform can really help you because we keep those videos short and specific to the answer that you're looking for. The last asset type here I want to highlight for you is the idea of workflows. I'm going to change up my search here. Now, workflows are going to walk a user through how to accomplish a process from start to finish in a way that allows them to standardize your work across offices or teams. Again, in these unique times, how do we get everyone following the same processes? How do we get everyone doing the same thing right the first time and reducing that issue of rework? Workflows are a really, really great way to do that. I can only show you one screen here. How it works, if you can imagine for a moment, I have my workflow up on one screen, and then I have my Revit or my project work up on another screen. So the tree diagram on the left is going to display all the processes and steps and tasks. I have my diagram in the middle, which is going to show me different swim lanes, If you have different teams that are working on a project, it's going to help you identify when that team gets involved in the process. I can zoom in on this. I can move around. I can zoom out. And when I click on a task, whether it's in the tree diagram or in the diagram in the middle, the task is going to display on the right. There's a couple other features about these workflows that make them really special for Productivity Now. So this particular workflow is very into the weeds, step by step, very specific to a process. Maybe this particular workflow is about 95% exactly how you guys work through this particular process. So how do I take that 95% and make it 100% your processes or your standards? You can copy this entire workflow down. You can make the changes here and there, and you've just made it 100% your workflow and your process and saved yourself hours and hours of time rather than creating one of these from scratch. There's a couple other features that also make these special. So in this particular task, I go through my steps. I followed everything that it said, but I'm not quite getting it. I have an error, something's not right. At the bottom of this step, I can click a reference video and again, watch a very short, quick video, get a more visual representation of that particular step, and back to my workflow and back to my project. In addition to the reference videos, embedded in these workflows are tool command links. So I get to this task, and step number 2 is telling me to run the collaborate command in Revit. Well, if I click the collaborate command, again, I can only show you one screen at a time, but what happened is in Revit, it's actually going to run that for me. So over here, it actually took me to the collaborate command and actually ran it for me. So again, I'm following the specific process and I'm running the commands exactly when they should be ran. All right, so the last area I want to highlight here is this idea behind work groups. Okay? So work groups are a really, really great place to collaborate internally and organize your content for specific users or for specific projects. Especially in these times where we're working remote, a lot of users are incorporating these into their internal best practices. I have a lot of clients that are leveraging work groups to store their processes and procedures so that managers, team leads, anybody who's collaborating on a project quickly find the document or video or workflow that they need to continue with their project work. Now, these are just some examples of work groups here for today's demonstration, but you can build these across teams, across offices, across different departments. Again, it's just a really great way to help your users find the information that they're looking for. So if there's a particular workflow they need to follow, if there's a learning path everybody needs to go through, if there's a video that they need to watch or a document they need to add, store it in a work group, and they can easily come out here and find the answer. There's a discussion board, which will allow people to collaborate internally. So I'm working on a project. I have a discussion here. It stays in the work group. It's related to the project that we're working on. Now, earlier today, I talked about the e-learning with the learning paths in the My Courses area. And Imagine and Eagle Point believe in a blended learning environment. We don't want to overshadow the power of a live training event. We do understand the need for those e-learning courses. So how do we take the live event and the e-learning and blend those together? One way we can do that is to leverage our live calendar. On the right-hand side here, I can actually see a live events calendar of training that's occurring within my firm. So I click on my live events calendar and I have the option to register for events. Managers have the option to invite users to a point where you can opt in or opt out and say, we're hosting this training. If it fits with your schedule and fits with your calendar, register for the event. Otherwise, you can assign specific training or live events and say, this is mandatory, you must join this event. But it goes well beyond, those AEC trainings. We have HR teams that are leveraging this for performance reviews. I have a bunch of clients that are leveraging it for their BIM manager meetings, monthly manager meetings. What's great about leveraging the live calendar is the option to do all the tracking on the back end. So managers and admins will have access to actually see who attended the event, and you have all of that stored within the reporting area on the back end. All right, now a couple other areas I want to highlight for everyone today. Kevin mentioned some best practices. How can we get teams to really leverage the ProductivityNOW platform to their best standards? Well, over here on the left-hand side, in addition to the Autodesk titles that we have, I mentioned it goes beyond the AEC discipline, right? So we have some business and management skills here. How are people adjusting to remote work, especially if it doesn't quite fit in your culture? We have some training out here that users can leverage to help them effectively work from home. Online meeting etiquette, getting users used to joining an online meeting and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate for those meetings. In addition to those business and management sort of soft skills, we also have a lengthy Microsoft asset library as well. So more and more staff are moving to Teams. Here at Eagle Point and Imagine It, we collaborate using Teams. There is a learning path out here to help people make that shift to using Teams. The great thing with Teams, when you add new people or groups, they can quickly get up to speed on what's already been discussed, right? So as the conversation and files become available to users, regardless of when they join, they're able to track all of that once they get added. So we actually use a bunch of different descriptive channels, whether we're planning for an upcoming event or maybe the customer success team here has a channel that we can collaborate internally whenever we have questions. But then you can also add tools, right? So you can add OneNote, Power BI, you can add them as tabs to a channel, but you can also add ProductivityNOW as a web page. A lot of clients are actually accessing the platform within Teams as well. So those are some good best practices that our clients are using today. But by default, you're also going to have this general tab within Teams. You can share an overview, right? So you can go ahead and link. You can have a document in there and linking to ProductivityNOW, giving people a general overview of the platform and expectations. So a lot of really good, useful information that we get within these libraries, in addition to the Autodesk and Ascent course where you're going to find. Now the platform also has the option to sync with your Active Directory. So as users are coming and going from the platform, you don't need to worry about getting them access, or if they leave, oh shoot, I forgot to remove them. If you leverage that, it's just going to take care of it for you with your own internal Active Directory. There's also a single sign-on option, so one less password that users need to remember at the end of the day is also really helpful. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and we're going to forget to do things, right? We're going to forget to log into ProductivityNOW because it may not be part of your culture yet. It's new. So how do I get users access to this information if they don't remember to log in? Well, imagine that I'm in my project work and I'm in Revit right now and I'm building my model. So earlier today, you saw me run that collaborate command. When I did that, this related learning topics plugin popped up. The related learning topics are going to generate contextual learning topics while you're in project work. So you don't actually have to come into ProductivityNOW and run that search. It's a really, really great way for users to get immediate access to the content relevant to the commands that you're clicking on. This plugin works with Revit, Civil 3D, and AutoCAD. So whatever program you're running and you click on a command, this will pop up for you. And again, I'm not even logged. Just imagine I'm not even logged into ProductivityNOW, and this will pop up to help me. Now, another thing I'd like to show is as I move through different commands, the topics are changing. They are following me around giving me other suggestions. So this is how I can use the platform and use the information in training without even having to be logged in, without having to turn around and ask that person, without having to send them an IM or send them an email for help. I'm working on walls, and I have 3 short videos here that I can click on and get a little bit more help as to that particular command. Any custom content that you add to the platform as well becomes completely visible out here to your users. So if you want them to see your internal videos or your workflows or your processes, you can tag it so that it appears out here as well. All right. So earlier I showed you how, or I spoke to how easy it was to customize your own content. I just want to show everyone here just how easy that is. So this is the back end where managers and admins can easily track what users are doing. Very, very easy to get your own content in there. Doesn't matter if it lives as a Word document, PowerPoint, a PDF. With a simple drag and drop method, we're able to bring all of your document and training and materials into the platform so it becomes easily accessible and searchable for your users. No need to recreate the wheel with those. If those documents already exist, put them into the platform, add them to a work group, and it becomes a one-stop shop for your users to easily find that information. All right, so that's going to wrap up our presentation today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Kevin to discuss next steps.
Thank you, Katie. That was great. I'm going to put you on the spot, though, because I had a couple of questions come in during the presentation that I think would be great to have a little explanation on. A lot of customers that we're working with have teams that extend beyond their internal employees. They, they've got a subcontractor or someone else that they need to communicate as well. One of the things that I know, the workgroup functionality has now is the ability to invite external participants. Can you touch on that a little bit and some of your experience that others are getting with that?
Absolutely, that is a great question. So yes, within the platform, there's a different area here for members. So when you are collaborating across teams, different firms, subcontractors, as you mentioned, there is this option here to invite external members. So what this allows you to do is get your processes, your procedures for a specific project, and share that with team members who aren't part of your firm, right? So when you're collaborating externally, what's the best way to safely and securely share those documents and processes and standards? And a work group with external members is the best way to do that. You can go ahead and invite a company administrator. So for example, Kevin, if you were working at a firm and I invite you, I can go ahead and say, all right, Kevin, you have the ability to invite 6 additional members to your team. Kevin can bring in 6 additional members, and now we're securely and safely sharing processes and standards because everything is secure within the work group and the platform.
Thanks, Katie. That's great, and that's exactly what I was looking for there, because we're getting a lot of customers that are, using these new BIM 360 tools and other tools to collaborate with their providers, and they were needing to get that information. The other question that I was seeing out there that I thought would be of interest is I've got a couple of managers that were saying, hey, that's great, we've got access to all this data, but can you show me real quick a report of how that data can be brought back to me as a manager so I can see who's completing tasks and such?
Absolutely. So as a manager, you're going to have access again to our managed content area and the management utility. So only certain users, whether you're a content creator, a manager, an admin, are going to have access to this additional add-on here. So we have two areas to track what users are doing. Whether they're in learning, you can track those actual learning path reports. So let's jump into there for a moment. And you can change your filters so you can see how long ago you want to filter for, the last year, the lifetime of your subscription. Now this is my demo tenant, so I'm just going to be the champion out here today. But you can see current enrollments across your firm. You can see who has completed courses, learning time. So again, how much time are they actually contributing to learning? You can track that out here. You can see percent of videos that they're viewing, the progress that they're making. I'll just dive into the report details on this one. These reports get very, very granular into what you're looking for. So I can break it out by user. I can break it out by different teams. So to show you some examples of my learning, don't judge my scores, I can actually see, if a user dropped a course, if they've been enrolled but they haven't started, I can actually see how much of the videos that they've watched. So let's jump into a training course I've gone through here. So I can see, I've watched this much of the video. I can see quiz scores. I can see how much of the content that they've reviewed. Are they actually going through and viewing the content, or are they just completing the course? That's learning path reports. And then outside of training, you get to get information into basically everything else that users are doing. So some really valuable reports you're going to see here are unique sign-ins and unique active users. So who's logging in? When's the last time they logged in? What types of documents are they clicking on? Are they clicking on workflows or videos or documents? Let's say you post a new video and you want to make sure everybody's watched it. You can actually come out here and see who actually clicked on that video and how much of the video they watched. Top searches, this is one of my favorite reports here. This is going to show you, when they're running those search, what are they searching on? Are they searching on knowledge-based articles? Are they searching for specific keywords? And then I like to take that top searches and say, well, maybe it makes sense to host a live training event or a lunch and learn session. Maybe we need to talk to our content creators and provide more information on that content. Another one of my favorites out here is most accessed content. So what are people referring back to more often than not? I like to think of this as maybe the champions, right? These are our experts. They're finding document and materials that's really useful, and they're going back to it again and again. How do we take the knowledge of the champions and share that out with everybody? With this reporting and with this tracking, you can do that. As you can see, this is a really frequently accessed document. Let's share that out with everybody with maybe a newsletter or an email. Maybe we need to have an internal meeting and talk about it. Lots of knowledge sharing problems out there, and getting visualization into what people are searching on and asking questions on helps you provide them with the information. Another very good question.
Perfect, Katie. Thank you very much. So, I hope everyone, saw this as a tool that, hopefully we gave you some tips here, some ideas that can help you roll this out, deploy it within your organization, as well as, information to help you understand maybe some of the functionality that's not being utilized, greatly today that should be, like the live events, like the ability to invite external partners and members into a work group, things like that. Katie, again, thank you very much. I really appreciate your assistance here. And if you want to go ahead and jump back to the PowerPoint real quick. So, I've been monitoring the Q&A. I don't think we've had, I think we've been able to answer pretty much everything that came through. Kelsey or Todd, anything that we need to follow up on else from the Q&A?
Just some people wanting more information.
Okay, great. Well, great. Well, that's more information is the next step in the process here. If you have additional questions, if you have looking for additional information, Our website has a great deal of information on the different tools and such that are available, as well as, but just simply reach out to one of our Imaginant, your sales representative, and they can help you get the answers or get you hooked up with someone on our Productivity Now team that can set up a personalized demonstration or assist you with that. Same time, for the existing customers, don't be afraid to reach out to your Productivity Now Success Advisor or the Customer Success Manager. They're a resource, and their whole goal is to help you deploy the solution and to make it a workable environment to really drive your users during this time of disruption. Again, I thank everybody for taking the time to join us today, and look forward to speaking with you all soon. Thank you very much.